My situation is that I'm being evicted from a place that I rented for 34 years. And I've talked to lawyers at the tenants union, and they say that because I'm older, I can't be evicted. And there's a question with mold. There's a lot of mold. There was a leak in my apartment. I told the landlord about it a year ago, and he still hasn't fixed it. And so, you know, there's all these things going on. And then my best friend is talking about it to her friends, and I'm a private person. And so I'm angry with her that she's talking about this to her friends. And, you know, I'm just still processing it.
Okay. Okay. So then what did you write on your worksheet?
I'm angry with Janet. She's blabbing to her friends about my pending eviction.
Okay. So, she's blabbing to your friends about your pending eviction. Is that true?
Yes, she told me that.
Okay.
She didn't say blabbing.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm mad. I'm mad at her.
For sure.
But I'm but she is talking to her friends about it, and I am a private person, and so it seems like it goes against the grain.
Right. Okay. So we're just looking for yes or no on this
I'm
first question.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So can you absolutely know it's true that she's blabbing to her friends about your pending eviction?
Yes.
Okay.
She told me.
Fine. Yep. Um, so how do you react? What happens
I'm
when you think
really
this?
angry.
Yeah.
I'm really angry with her.
And what are the images you see when you think of her blabbing to her friends?
I'm just mad at her. I just feel like it's not appropriate.
Yeah. And then how do you treat her when you think that she has been blabbing about your eviction?
I'm mad at her. I'm
Hmm.
angry with her. I
Yeah.
treat her probably badly, or I treat her badly as
How
kids
does it come out?
say.
Like, does it come out in anything that you say or anything that you do or
No,
any?
I have a phone conversation with her coming up, and I feel like I want to confront her, and
Right.
she doesn't take well to being confronted. I've
Got
gotten
it.
emails from her husband. I've gotten, she's distressed by it. She's not where we're at, I would say.
Okay. Okay. So,
Doesn't like to be confronted.
so do you see any images from the past or the future when you think she's blabbing to your friends?
Yes, I do.
What do you
I
notice?
see images from the future where she's cowering and uncomfortable with what I say.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, and where do you notice it in your body when you think this thought? She's blabbing to her
Somewhere
friends
in
about,
between my stomach and my chest.
yeah, yeah. So these are some of the effects of this thought. When you believe or think this thought, then these are some of the reactions that happen. Stomach, imagining her in the future, and then angry, like you said from
Yeah.
the beginning. So who would you be if you didn't, if you weren't so focused on this thought, if you didn't believe this thought 100% that she's blabbing to her friends about your pending eviction, or if you weren't so attached or focused on it, who would you be?
I would be comfortable with her and going to friends because she needs support as well.
Mm,
I'm her dear friend and she could use some support.
yeah. So interesting. Without that focus on her blabbing, as you put it originally, then you start to have a, there starts to be almost a feeling of compassion of
Yes,
like she needs
yes.
support and this is what she's doing there. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So how would you turn the thought around? She's blabbing to her friends about my pending addiction. Or was it to my friends? I'm sorry, I may have gotten the wording mixed up. What was the
Um,
original statement?
I'm angry with Janet. She's blabbing to her friends about my
Her friends.
pending
Yeah.
eviction.
So let's turn it around. She's blabbing to her friends about your pending eviction. What would be
I'm
a turn?
blabbing to my friends about my pending eviction.
Okay, so give me some examples how that could be as true or if there's some truth in it. Are you blabbing to your friends in
No,
some
I'm
way?
not. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not telling anyone right now.
okay. So what does blabbing mean to you?
Gossiping.
Gossiping. Yeah, yeah. So I'm we're looking for any little way that you may be gossiping or talking to your friends about your pending eviction. Um, and at first, there may not be anything, but we're just looking. That's the point of these
Yeah,
turnarounds, is just to
yeah,
look.
yeah,
Maybe there's some
yeah.
way. I don't know.
I'm not sure there is, but did anyone else want to say something?
I have a one possible one if you want to hear.
Okay.
Um, in a way, it's like she is your friend. Um, so you're telling her about your pending eviction.
That's right.
Um, so
But
it's
she's my trusted friend.
yes, I get it. It's like there's different degrees, right? She
Yes,
may be talking far and wide, or maybe talking a little more uh, beyond that, but there's some little element of it there. Like, okay, yeah, I've didn't just keep it to myself,
that's
even
right.
though, right? Even though you're a private person, it's like I still shared it um, with her. And so the only point in finding that, there's nothing right or wrong about it. It's just to see that it's natural for anyone to share something that's stressful with a friend. And
That's right.
so you shared with your friend, even though she's a trusted friend, and she shared with her friends, and it's like it's just sort of what we do sometimes when we get stressed. We want to share. It helps in some way. So again, the point of that is just to see the similarity between her and you. They're not, she may have done it more, but there's a common thread there.
Yes.
And I see one other possible example as well, which is you're sharing it with us right here.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, it's it's not like you're gossiping. You're doing your work, but there's that little similarity of like, okay, what she's doing, I also do in some degrees, and it helps bring a bridge or a connection between
Yes.
us. Yeah. So is there another turnaround? She's blabbing to her friends about my pending eviction.
I blab to my friends about my pending eviction.
That's the one we just did there. I think that's right. I think that's what we're just working
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah. So what's another one? Another turnaround.
I am angry with me.
We're just turning around the part after because. So because she is blabbing. Yeah. So just she is blabbing to her friends about my pending eviction. What would be another way of turning that around? Try putting yourself on all of it.
You know,
So,
it's possible that I'm not being evicted.
okay. Yeah. So and so maybe she's blabbing to her friends about something that may never actually happen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point. So try also turning it around to yourself. Instead of she is blabbing to her friends about your pending eviction, try I am blabbing to myself about my pending eviction.
That fits.
Okay, what do you see there? How does that fit?
Um, I feel I'm carrying this around and I feel bad about myself.
Yeah, yeah. So even though you may not be saying much to others, you're carrying it around, and it's a kind of, quote unquote, blabbing to myself about my pending eviction. It just points to we humans need to process things, and whether we're talking with friends is one way to do it, talking with ourselves is another way to do it. It just kind of happens when there's some stress there. The mind blabs, the mouth blabs,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So again, we're looking for the similarity between your experience and her, like between you and her,
Yes,
and that's all.
yes.
So then turn it around to the opposite. She is not. How would you turn it around? She's not.
Well, she's not blabbing about my pending eviction.
Okay, so how could that be true? Is there any way that that could be as true as she is blabbing? It may be both, but can you find any elements of truth in that?
Sure. And what I see is that I don't know for sure that she's gossiping about my pending eviction.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The mind tends to exaggerate and make it like for sure, and then make it seem like it's even bigger than what she may actually be doing. Maybe she just talked to one friend, or maybe she told, uh, just maybe it wasn't in the idea of gossip. Um, so keep playing with this. How is it? How is it that she's not necessarily blabbing to her friends about your pending eviction, or she may not be, even though she may be. Like, is it possible that there's an element of truth?
Yes, of course. There's an element of truth that she's not gossiping about
Yeah.
my pending eviction.
Yeah. I mean, what, to take it to the extreme, what would really gossiping be like? What would that look like in contrast to what she's actually doing?
Gossiping is just throwing out different things and saying and judging me.
Mm, wow, that's a really cool distinction. That's a really cool distinction. Do you get any sense that she's judging you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so then that doesn't work. Okay, so
No,
how is
it
it that
works.
she's
It works in the overall scheme of things that judgments are really hard for me, and that her judging me is what is really going on, I think.
okay? Okay. So so what
I
I'm
think gossiping is judging.
okay. So the question is, like the turnaround is, she's not gossiping or not blabbing to her friends about my eviction. So we're looking for any evidence that would be that she's not gossiping or that she's not um, doing that. And and I'm not sure where what you're finding there, but let's keep looking. How is it possible that she's not blabbing, not gossiping, even though she may be doing that too? But how is it possible that it's not as much as you think?
Well, she could just be talking it through with
Yeah,
trusted allies.
yeah, just like you did with her, like just
Yeah,
talking with trusted allies, talking it through, and then, yeah. And the fact that you got calls could be just other people's natural concern, not necessarily that there was a sense of trying to gossip there.
right, right.
Yeah. So it's all on what how you see it. She has shared it. That's true. But then what was the intention behind that sharing?
Right,
That's also important.
right. And I feel judged. So I think that's really the meat of the matter.
It is. It kind of goes back to that turnaround we saw of I'm blabbing about my pending eviction kind of to myself. So it's like inherent in that word blabbing for you, it sounds like judging is a piece of that. And
It is.
so you're
It's a big
judging
piece of
yourself
it.
for being evicted, right? There's some kind of shame there a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's really good to see that that's you and it may not be her at all. The mind, if I'm judging myself, I will also imagine that other people are judging me. That's just natural. But what the reality is probably I'm just judging myself and they may not be judging me.
I think you're on to something with the shame. I think I feel very ashamed that this is happening to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And when I'm ashamed, I want to hide. I don't want anyone to know. I don't want
That's
anyone to
right.
talk, right? So
That's
this makes a
right.
lot of sense. So let's just stop with that inquiry and let's make a list, brainstorm some ideas of what being evicted means to you. Why would that be shameful to you? What does being evicted mean to you? Let's just make a list and I'll write a few down for you.
I think it's somehow connected with being bad.
Okay. So being evicted means I'm bad. Yes. What else does being evicted mean to your mind?
Well, I think we already touched on the shameful part of it. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of shame involved in being evicted.
So we can just say being evicted is shameful. Yeah. These are one-liners. These are kind of underlying belief here that can also be questioned, just like we questioned the first statement on your worksheet. So being evicted means I'm bad. Being evicted means is shameful. Anything else connected there for you with being evicted?
Somehow there's a carelessness in that. I should have seen that coming, and I did. I did see it coming because the landlord died and it went to his son. And I knew in my heart of hearts that he wanted to sell the place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I should have I should have been or I was too careless or something. Um, Somewhere around there. I should have been more careful. I don't know how you would phrase it, but this is a kind of underlying belief here. Being evicted here means I was careless.
Because I saw it. I
Mm-hmm.
saw it coming and I didn't do anything.
Yeah. So I should have acted sooner or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's that those should have kind of thoughts. They have a lot of to do with shame, in my experience. And
Yeah.
you know, as long as I'm believing I should have acted sooner, then I don't want anybody to talk about it because I feel ashamed
Yeah.
that I did it. And
Yeah.
so yeah. So very interesting. Very interesting. It starts out with she's blabbing to her friends about my pending eviction. And as we go through it, it starts getting clearer that there's a shame sitting in there that has some other beliefs connected to it. It's I should have acted sooner. It's shameful to be evicted. I'm bad. So good to look at. So thank you for this work.
Thank
Really
you
nice.
so much, Todd. This really lifts it off in a really interesting way where I can start dealing with it in a non-blaming, non-shameful way.
Yeah, exactly. Only thing that's happening here is the mind has just gotten caught on certain beliefs, certain conclusions. And as you question those, you'll start to feel more and more open and
Yeah.
free and
Yeah.
less judged.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you for your work.
Thank you.